Kral, originally known as Balthazar M. Edison, is the main antagonist of the 2016 sci-fi action movie Star Trek Beyond. He was a human senior officer at the MICO organization who had been mutated into a reptilian form by alien life-extending technology after crashing upon a planet with his crew. We believe that this short intro is enough to grab the attention of all the sci-fi fans out there.
Why did you sacrifice yourself for him?
He would have done the same.
We are here today with an in-depth explanation of the sci-fi movie Star Trek Beyond, Kral. Before moving further, make sure that you've subscribed to our channel and also hit the bell icon because if you're a movie freak like us, you surely don't want to miss any of our videos.
The swarm ships are doubling back. They are forming in the tech wave set.
I think we got their attention.
For any sci-fi lover, Star Trek Beyond is the perfect movie to watch. Before we jump right into the plot, let's learn more about the film, its cast, and production. It is an American movie directed by Justin Lin, written by Simon Pegg and Doug Jones, and based on the television series Star Trek, created by Gene Roddenberry. It is a further addition to the Star Trek franchise. In this movie, Chris Pine performs his role as Captain James T. Kirk, while Zachary Quinto performs the role of Commander Spock. Carl Urban as Dr. Bones McCoy, Zoe Salina as Lieutenant Uhura, Simon Pegg as Scotty, John Cho as Sulu, and Anton Yelchin as Chekhov. Idris Elba performs his primary role as the villain Kral, about whom the whole movie revolves, and Lydia Wilson as Kalara. The latter serves a function as Kral's assistant and spy. Before jumping into the main events, let's discuss the prologue and backstory of the movie to have a clearer view of the film. Captain James T. Kirk negotiates a treaty between two long-term enemies and presents a piece of ancient weapons as a goodwill gesture.
It was once a piece of an ancient weapon, and now they offer it as a symbol of peace.
One of the negotiating party's leaders accuses the other of stealing the artifact, and turns out that they're relatively small creatures compared to humans and attack Kirk. As a result, he flips open his communicator and urgently asks Montgomery Scott that he be beamed up. He's eventually evacuated to the USS Enterprise and asks his first officer to log the artifact into its archive vault. The movie starts as the Federation starship USS Enterprise arrives at Starbase Yorktown to resupply and leave behind its crew. Captain James T. Kirk has already applied for a promotion to Vice Admiral and recommends Spock as his replacement. Sulu reunites with his family, and Montgomery Scott tries to keep the ship operational. New Vulcan informs Spock that Ambassador Spock has died. Nevertheless, the crew is dispatched on a rescue mission when an escape pod drifts out of a nearby uncharted nebula. In search of the stranded space travelers, the pod's occupant, Kalara, claims that her ship is located on a planet called Altamid. During the mission, the USS Enterprise and Kirk and his crew are ambushed by Kral.
Suffer the end of Romulus 1,000 times. I would rather die in agony.
Armed with a fleet of pointy ships and nondescript humanoid soldiers, he dismantles the Enterprise, enters and kills some crew members searching for a relic called Abranath, which has been recovered recently. Seeing the condition of the spaceship and the loss of crew members as Kral kills them, Kirk decides to abandon the spaceship and lets the saucer section of the ship crash onto the surface of Altamid. As the movie progresses, Kirk confronts Kalara, thinking she knew what was coming. She defends herself, saying it was to help save her crew. With Chekhov, they rush to find the Abranath on the saucer. Kalara then turns on Kirk, confirming she led them to a trap and was working with Kral the whole time.
What is this?
She finds that the Abranath is not where Kirk claimed to have left it. Moments later, the three are ambushed by drones. Kirk and Chekhov manage to activate the saucer's thrusters, which lift the saucer high enough until it crashes down hard, killing Kalara. In an attempt to escape, Kral captures the crew members, transporting the survivors to his makeshift prison on Altamid. While many of the crew members are arrested, Kirk, Spock, Bones, Scotty, and Chekhov manage to slip away. they eventually find another old Federation Starfleet ship called USS Franklin, which a fierce young warrior named Jayla has been rebuilding to leave the planet Ultimate. According to the log files and archive footage, Franklin and her crew were the first to explore deep space and were stranded on Ultimate, unable to leave the planet or send a distress signal to the Starfleet. While Captain Balthazar and the crew were honored as heroes, Franklin's fate was lost to history until now. The survivors powered up the newly found starship and pursue Kral. He and his army fly towards Yorktown so he can activate the Abernath and kill everyone. The Enterprise crew follows. Spock and Bones beam onto a drone ship and figure out that they need to use a distraction to get by the other drones. Scotty uses Jayla's music system to create discordant noise with the Beasties song Sabotage. The drones get obliterated, leaving only Kral's ship plus 2 others. The Franklin manages to stop Kral's spaceship, causing it to crash into a fountain. So, the crew goes off to find him and make sure he's dead. They find 2 dead bodies drained of their life force, knowing he did it. As they continue making their way, they notice a video of Franklin's original crew from centuries ago. Uhura spots a familiar face among everyone else. The man she sees is Balthazar Edison, captain of the Franklin, but he is now Kral. Kirk asks to see Edison's old logs. Eventually, from the records, they find that Kral is the former Captain Balthazar Edison, who rejects the Federation's principles of unity and cooperation with former enemies, like the Xindi and the Romulans. During the period Kral was stranded, he learned about a tech left by some alien race on the planet that could be used as a bioweapon. The aliens dismantle the weapon into pieces known as relics. Now, he wants to use these relics to form the bioweapon and use it against the Federation and resume the galactic conflict. Kirk is eventually forced to give the relic to Kral as he threatens to kill Sulu. As the end of the movie comes, Kirk pursues Kral into Yorktown's ventilation, activating the bioweapon. Kirk ejects it and Kral into space before it can do any further damage, where the weapon kills Edison. But Kirk is saved by Spock and McCoy moments before he is blown into space using an alien ship. In the aftermath, Kirk decides to remain in his position as the captain despite the promotion offer. Spock reunites with Uhura and chooses to stay in Starfleet, while Jayla, the fierce warrior, is accepted into Starfleet Academy. The crew witnessed the construction of a new ship and resumed their mission.
Kral would come and take someone. They were screams. I can still hear them.
In the end, let's briefly review the movie, and for that, getting the numbers out of the way as soon as possible. This movie has an IMDb rating of 7.1 and is rated PG-13 for sequences of sci-fi action and violence. The 13th overall movie in the Star Trek franchise turns out to be good luck for everyone. It's a fresh, satisfying return to the beloved characters of the 1966 to 1969 TV series and a rousing sense of teamwork. Director Justin Lin, who made 4 of the first 7 Fast and Furious movies, somehow finds a balance between recklessness and entertainment. He provides several gargantuan action sequences that aren't exactly flawless, but are exhilarating nonetheless. It certainly helps that co-writers Peg and Doug Jin bring nerdy goodness to the movie, with a story worthy of the old show and an emotionally satisfying equilibrium among the characters.
At least I won't die alone.
Star Trek Beyond recalls Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, in that it corrects the misguided slip-ups that came before it, erasing the showboating and awkwardness of the last few movies, and remembering the essence of what made these characters great in the first place. So guys, that was our take on explaining Star Trek Beyond and Kral. What are your reviews for the movie? Whose performance did you like the most? And which of the Star Trek movies do you enjoy the most? We are eager to know your opinions on the movie, so please hop into the comment section below. Your suggestions play a vital role in helping us create better content for you, so do not forget to give your feedback. If you guys like our content, do give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. That's been it from our side. See you guys in the next one. Until then, peace!